Great. Hey everybody, Jared Napolitano here, JNap. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you can do some quality control, make sure I sound okay, and hopefully the video's okay. Somehow we always seem to have one hitch in getting these things up and going, so hopefully it's all going to go smoothly. This is going to be a top 8 matchup between Bastian Winkelhaus, aka zlorfik. He's going to be light side. He's the higher seed. He's the number 2 overall seed out of the 16. He's going to be playing against Charlie Arlandson. GoldenGod is his jump handle. He won the first game by 10, Charlie that is. He played as Yoda communing against Bastian's Shadow Collective. Seems like a pretty similar deck to what he played in the top 16 against Joe. He defeated Joe even though he lost the first game. I think it was like 16 or 17. Joe was playing Prophet, and then Bastian won the second game. Got a Yavin 4 operations lock going against Joe's map. So that's how he advanced. Charlie advanced. He was supposed to play Tom. Tom was the 10 seed. Charlie was the 7. Looks like the table's up. But Charlie hasn't joined yet. There we go. Charlie was the 7 seed. And here we go. All right, so we're on the new UI. I know it's not everyone's as familiar with it, but I think I'm not alone in that it's a really neat for spectating. I think it definitely would take a long time to get used to and be as efficient with it if you're playing with it, but I think for viewing it's pretty neat. And I especially like the card piles are bigger, so you're not always on these types of things asking the streamer, hey, what's the life force left? All right, so Charlie reveals map, and Bastian reveals Yoda communing. So we're seeing a lot of map and a lot of communing. I know Joker King played map yesterday against Justin Desai. That was a pretty close, I think it was the same matchup actually. And I think I remember telling myself during that matchup, can we please stop seeing so much map and communing? All right, so Charlie's gonna go first, obviously. Charlie immediately says should have gone with Shadow Collective. Which is interesting because I thought that the emergence of communing with Qui-Gon communing, and Bastian says should have played Yops, which would have been a repeat of the matchup he played against Joe. So that's pretty funny. Yeah, I think that at Worlds there was one Shadow Collective played in the main event out of 60. I think people, including myself, kind of crossed off Shadow Collective because hitting ability 7, sometimes defense value 8 in the case of Luke. Jedi is really difficult, and if Shadow can't hit people, it loses a lot of its potency, but of course there are ways to tweak Shadow, which I know Greg did. He defeated Joe's communing, or Yomunning, whatever it was, with a lot of disarms, and you can play like Imperial Decree non-V, which we've seen, to try to cut down on those 4-string bonuses of the lightsabers, although of course Obi-Wan's journal protects them. So there's a lot of counterplay going back and forth. So you could definitely play Shadow and tweak it to beat it. And that's game 1 of this matchup. Bastian was running Imperial Decree in his Shadow Collective. So yeah, my impression of this matchup is Light wants to get to the village as soon as possible. That's why you'll see 3 or 4, a lot of times 4 Old Man Luke, since he can't deploy where the dark side occupies. As we see, pretty standard stuff here. Charlie gets out the blockade flagship. He's going to deploy the episode, I guess it's technically episode 7, Emperor to the throne. But of course, it's the one that we know from E9. So yeah, I would imagine Lightside wants to get to that village, win the village. Darkside almost inevitably will have better space, but there might be some tricks like Landing Claw or kind of like a loaded up Falcon, which looks like was what Desai was running to survive in space against Joker King. But in my experience is you fight over that battleground site a lot. Light obviously has battleground sites they can put out if they need to, but if you let map get on their 2 systems and the battleground site, that's a lot of damage that they're going to have for free, whereas light side is more likely to have to pay for battle plan in this matchup, unless, again, they have like landing call tricks or some like unusually strong space package. But yeah, so Bastian's going to need to win by 11. No stranger to having to win game 2 by double digits. Of course, many of you might remember in 2019 when Bastian won Worlds for the second time. He lost game 1 against Tom Kelly by 19. And then he came back and won game 2, I think right around 20 or 21, in a pretty epic final that was. Out comes Boston Chamber from Bastian. Typical turn 1 with these decks, just trying to get activation out. We have Bastian using the peak with the Communing. And he's going to go to his move phase. That's another thing I like about the new UI too. You have this like ticker thing on the left, so it's not subtle the way that when the phases change. On the old UI, it's a little more, hey, we're going to the next phase. Hey, we're going to the next phase. All right, Bastian will draw a few cards. This turn, you expect Charlie. I mean, usually a lot of times with map, they're activating 13. I barely ever play map. Whether to go to ground first or go to space first. If he goes to the village with like Kylo and some people, then Bastian's not going to be able to put Luke there, but of course there's other Jedi in the deck. I kind of feel like Matt usually wants to go to space first. Maybe get like Finalizer out, threaten to drain a 2 or 3. At Jakku, perhaps with Chirnu. We see Command from Charlie. Let's see what he pulls. Which Admiral General? Captain Peavy, formerly known as Vice Admiral Resdox for a very short time period. We have Wise Advice, so Bastian has both Sense Alter Shields out. We have a Rebel Leadership, probably General Kenobi, maybe a General Leia. General Leia. And we're between turns here, so you would expect Charlie probably has Chirnu already if he pulled Resdox, although he adds Resdox, PV. That was a pretty quick errata when it happened. Similar abilities. Yeah, so here comes Finalizer to Jakku for 9. And Hux for just 1. He's going to get the use pile pull with Bow to the First Order. This is one of the strongest parts of map, where you can just kind of find what cards you need. It gets quick, good, really strong activation. This was after it got nerfed not too long ago, because for a short period it had some pretty crazy activation. It was just kind of bonkers for, I think it was only like maybe one set. So yeah, so starting to see more of that hallway, because of course Accelerate can pull the blockade flagship hallway. And no, sorry, Garrett, I was quiet for a minute there. I think everyone else can hear okay. All right, so Hux will pull. Yeah, so at the end of that turn, Charlie moved to get the Dakar activation. Pulls 9s. One that cancels with his baton. All right, so you get Speak with the Jedi Council. And all right, so this matchup, I believe the winner will play Matt Harrison Trainer, who won last night versus Drew. That side of the bracket. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because Bastian's the 2. This is a 2-7 matchup. MHT was the 3, playing against Drew, who was the 6. So they'll be on the same. And on the other side of the bracket, we have Desai and Joker King, All Stars and Joker King. They're Justin won the first matchup by 8, I believe. And they'll play the winner of Paul Myers and Justin Branch, which will take place in 2 hours or 2.5 hours. I think Solid Snack has it in here. Yeah, 4 p.m. Out comes the Jedi Council Chamber. Of course, this is the quarterfinals. Bastian got to the Final Four last year. He lost to Justin Desai in the Final Four. And Justin went on to defeat Paul Myers in the final in the 2020 OCS. Bastian has a 14-card hand. And Charlie's got 12. Both activating 13 force here. This mechanic with the whole Jedi with the peaks is really neat. I think it's perfect for OG Rey, because she can then just draw it, and you can basically always just keep funneling cards into your hand with a little bit of a choice to try to narrow it down on which cards you want. So Bastian's just going to draw here, kind of let him make the first move, not go down too soon, and maybe wants to find some answers. He's at 17-card hand, 18, 19, and he's going to draw a ton here. So this is the types of reasons why I like to run Monarch in competitive events. But of course, it's not a bulletproof thing. Bastian would probably just grab it and then draw with impunity, especially early when the damage isn't that high. Like Charlie's only going to do drain a 2 here. I wonder if Bastian will pull Battle Plan. Yeah, there's probably 2 or 3 Lukes in Bastian's hand. Maybe a couple Maces. Probably not 2 Whis. Maybe a couple Whis. He's going to grab Battle Planes. Yeah. As much as I regret the one time I played, it lost in the NPC against Joe, an NPC final. It really worked out when I played against Chris Kelly in the Worlds of 2020 when I played it lost, and I think I got 2 or 3 Lukes. And that really gave me a head start for the game. All right, so Bastian grabs Battle Planes. Charlie's going to play Accelerate to look for an interrupt, so just to cycle it. Maybe he's got the hallway in his hand, or those mobile sites are pretty nice because they don't have to worry about projection of Skywalker, which has been a pretty popular card to reduce damage for a while now. Well, it's still kind of slow here at the beginning. Just want to give a plug for the 2021 Jawa Cup. Taco Bell's running that. It's an article on the homepage. I believe it's the message of the day on Jump right now, which will send you to a couple different forum links that are relevant. Sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's over 60 people. The first one I think was 58, and Bill does a really good job, or did a great job running the last one. I'm sure he'll do a great job this one. Some pretty cool prizes. And it's a little more laid back it's semi-competitive, I would say, because it's free, but there's some prizes for performance. There's a lot of encouragement to did Charlie just realize Accelerate? Yeah, okay. So Charlie asked, sorry, can I go back to Control? So we might have a revert thing here. But yeah, so did not realize Battle Plan was not out. Yeah, that's a lot of us just kind of always assume it's out. Yeah, I thought you pulled. So if I was this might not be a revert that's granted. Yeah. So Bastian's talking Charlie through that this is a mistake, not a misclick or like a wacky jump thing. That's usually my philosophy in a pretty highly competitive game like this is, with some pretty decent stakes. If there's a mistake, I'm not as friendly with the reverts. And that's a lot of times too, my bar is, would you make this mistake in real life? And that was one that a lot of people might just assume Battle Plan's out. So out comes White Border Kylo Ren, because of course his underlying card is Vader's Obsession. Onto the shuttle. Charlie's going to set up here. So Bastian's going to have 13 to activate, so 15 total on his turn. Boatload of cards in hand. would probably bet there's going to be lightsabers and Clash of Sabers and all sorts of fun. So Charlie definitely probably wants to, have a formidable ground crew here, where Bastian could just attack into it and win the site pretty easily. Of course, both sides have plenty of battle tricks, and there's FN. Usually a guy you want to deploy offensively, because his action to cancel game text and prevent a weapon, really good when it's, when Darkside has the first top level in the battle. Out comes not Vader's lightsaber, Kylo's lightsaber. Charlie's establishing the board here, 12 cards in hand. Probably's got a barrier or two in his hand. Bastian probably has a barrier canceller. This will get interesting as Captain Phasma comes out for a use pile pull. Charlie's gonna have 3 more force to work with. Something he can pull from that 11 card use pile. Yeah, so Charlie, I'm pretty sure he played map at Nationals when he was first on day 1. There was definitely a lot of old allies at that event, and that was a perfect meta call. As I know, Hayes had some post somewhere that was very eloquent about, why it was such a good play that Charlie and Dennis both played map, even though map was kind of down. Or I don't think there was many map played, but that worked out really well against old allies. So yeah, so Charlie has played it in a couple big time events. I'm sure he's got like a Gick, a barrier, maybe even a UR beaten. He's probably got some tricks, but it'll just be a matter of kind of whose tricks prevail, and maybe to some extent who draws the better destiny here, because there's in all likelihood it's gonna be a battle here. I don't know if Communing can really win this if they allow Matt to set up on 3 locations. They'll turn on resistance, they'll not have to pay for drains, and they'll be able to set up plenty of defensive actions as needed, and maybe even get offensive somewhere if they need to, but probably not. They'll probably just be content to leave, Old Man Luke and General Leia alone at some Naboo site. Yeah, so only 3 force. If there's like a draw their fire here, that could get a little iffy here for Charlie. Yoda Stew, that's a good card. Sebastian's going to put out the battle planes, presumably going to be going to the battle planes. Not usually a card you ever want to deploy unless you're also planning to put some people there. Here comes Old Man Luke. Remember, Bastian has to win this by 11. I'm curious if it's like a damage race. Let's see. They have about the same amount of cards down. Bastian's got a bunch more cards in his hand. Bastian checks his reserve deck with Luke for a force projection. And out comes Luke's lightsaber from hand. Maybe seeing if there's another lightsaber in there. Maybe seeing if there's any key cards in his force pile. Maybe he can, deploy Rey and grab something. Possibility of a neighbor in here. Maybe he's planning to more so move into it. But of course, Map will have like a get combo. Maybe 2 to cancel it. So Rey must be the agent, or maybe General Leia. That's something, sorry guys, I should have noticed that at the beginning. Although this probably indicates it, right? Let's see. Yes, Resistance agent is Rey. Okay, cool. So that's not flipped, even though Luke's here. So Luke will maintain his immunity. I'm sure that's the right call. I'm sure this isn't a new matchup or dynamic for Bastian, and Bastian's a pretty good player, as an understatement. So I would bet most people probably agree or confirm that decision, right? That Rey is the better agent. So Bastian's, let's see, still in his deploy phase. And yeah, just mathing this out. So, and it's early. It's very early still, but Charlie's going to have 4 damage due for free. Probably going to have another starship go to Jakku in a turn or two. Be able to turn on resistance. Here comes Luke's Bionic Hand. And of course, map. They'll probably play an EPP Mara. They'll play a P59, an Aura, EPP Aura. A Snoke. I'm just trying to think of cards that he might try to attack into Luke with. But if I was Charlie, I'd probably be content with just continuing to set up on his locations. We'll say. Bastian draws a couple more. He's up to 20. A 25 card hand. Wow. So 25 cards in his hand, 20 face down. I mean, maybe Bastian was digging for something. Maybe he was digging for Ray. It's nice having a lot of cards in your hand, but at some point, if you have that many, it's going to be hard to be able to have enough to deploy a bunch of dudes and do anything substantive on your turn. So I'm guessing he wasn't doing that just for cards in hand. I think he was doing it because he really needed to find something. Yeah, maybe it wasn't Ray. Maybe it was the space package. Maybe it was a landing claw. Maybe it was sense to protect the landing claw. No, probably not sense since he pulled to it or not. Becomes a chain of 2, and Bastian loses a speak and another speak. Wouldn't be surprised if he throws away another 1 or 2. And when you got 25 cards in your hand. Oh, wait a minute. Did he lose? Oh, no, yeah, 2 speaks from hand. Tosses another Luke and tosses a Wisa. So a lot of stuff presumably won't need it. I'm going to bet he probably has another Luke in that hand. Just in case. Although at the same time, Luke's a tank right now. Here comes Steadfast. Yeah, so this, I would think a 9s goes to the village. Shuttle will probably fly up. Here comes PV to the finalizer. I think this is probably going really well for Charlie. It's going to be a matter of, because here's resistance is going to come out to cap that battle plane strain at 2. And then Charlie's going to have 6 damage queued up. And, pretty healthy hand. And he's probably going to be able to save a few force and just be pretty good to be. So he's going to consolidate. Or maybe not. Maybe he'll do that, and then he'll move Steadfast to ship dock, move Steadfast to the car, activate 2 force. And what is that? Like even, right? Spend 2 force to move these ships, but get it back on the Dakar text. And yes, it plays resistance. He's on 3 battlegrounds. Got 3 troopers, Kylo the shuttle. Battle order comes out now too. Actually out on the table now. Yeah, I always forget that. Yeah, so definitely a net 1 there. Net 1 force to do all that. First order starships move from here for free. Excuse me. In Charlie's draw phase, Bastian does the peak with communing. Peaks at the top card force pile. Presumably, if it's something he wants, he's probably going to move it to the bottom. Yeah. Because, well, it can go both ways. If he's got Ray in his hand, he probably wants to put it on the bottom so he can get to it, scavenge it from the bottom. Or if it's a card that he really doesn't want or need and isn't planning on putting Ray out, bury that in his force pile and doesn't have to worry about not getting a card he doesn't really need. At least that's how I kind of approach that peak mechanism. But I would think pretty much every communing deck, almost all of them. I think Drew was running 3 I saw somewhere. She's just so good with that communing synergy. All right, so Bastian's going to activate all but 1, which is the max. Yeah, he activated the max. So presumably not going to do any battling this turn unless he's going to put like Chirrut out and recirculate on the same turn. Checks his reserve deck. Both players know what the one card is. Control phase. Let's see if Bastian pays to drain. Probably not, because he's probably telling himself, like, am I going to win this game by getting through some damage here? He probably needs to more so improve his board state, use that force for that instead. I mean, 22 cards in hand, though. Maybe he can do both. I wonder what other locations he's playing. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 locations out, 1 battleground. With Yoda, you can pull, obviously, you can pull more locations. Here comes Jin to block the drain. Would bet there's like at least a 50-50 chance that Charlie has a sniper in his hand. So yeah, so no drain. Here comes Ray. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no drain. Jin's 4, Ray's 4. He's going to scavenge a card from the use pile. So Jin presumably means he's not attacking there for a turn or two. Definitely not this turn, but maybe not even next since he bought some time. But Charlie's got 4 damage queued up in space. Maybe Bastian's trying to pair together. Okay. So that one card is Hanshui Falcon. Because I don't see a verify yet. I wonder if Charlie's debating about a sense here. It'd probably be worth it, right? Keep that chip out. Keep it off the table. Charlie's got 12 cards in hand. Bastian has 20. Yes, there's a delay here. I'm thinking maybe Charlie's debating about sensing it. Unless my stream froze or something, but let's see. The timer's ticking. All right, so he does grab it. All right, so he grabs Hanshui Falcon. So I wonder, let's think about that. So if Hanshui Falcon was the bottom card of the reserve deck, maybe it was buried for a little bit. Here comes a barrier against Hanshui Falcon as it's going after Steadfast and Hux, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's just a landing claw here. Yeah, barrier goes through. Ray's going to grab the bottom card of his force pile, which of course Bastian knows what that is. That's the one he moved there at the end of Charlie's turn. Bastian's going to peek at the top card with Communing. Still his deploy phase. Out comes Rose. Alright, so Charlie's 6 damage is now down to 2. And now even more so likely going to be 2 with the landing claw coming out. So now, of course, subject to change pretty quickly, but Bastian's now got 2 damage, 1 retrieval versus Charlie's 2 damage. But probably going to be well, I shouldn't say that. You wonder what type of mechanisms Bastian has to make sure the landing claw doesn't just go kaput. Small chance he's playing sense if he pulled do or do not so quickly. To protect from get combo. Might have a Baragwin, but that Baragwin's not out. Let's think. What are other ways that people recur the landing claw? Obi-Wan Kenobi V, but he's not going to be able to deploy Obi-Wan because Yoda prevents Jedi Knights from coming out. Yeah, it's a trap. Would prevent the sniper combo from getting rid of Jin. So, yeah, with all these cards in Bastian's hand, he probably has something to keep Jin on table. Yeah. I can't imagine he just puts Jin there. He spends the 4 force on a key turn without acknowledging that a sniper is very, very possible. Yeah, Charlie's going to first action control phase. He's going to drain at Jakku. So remember, you guys should be able to see at the top. Charlie won the first game +10. Quite a mercenary non-V is immune to sense. Yeah, it's a trap. Okay, you guys are talking about different things. Or maybe I'm not following. Yeah, the cancel sniper part is not immune to sense. I actually found that bug on Gem. Because one time I was anticipating to sense that function against Gem Tom. And it wouldn't let me because the entire It's a Trap was considered immune to sense. So I submitted that, and of course, Adam, maybe it was Jeremy, I think it was Adam though, fixed the bug. So that cancel sniper or blasted droid function, the use function on It's a Trap, is now not immune to sense. Here comes Sniper Dark Strike. Let's see who predicted It's a Trap? Kieran? Let's see. Ooh, it's going to go through. Unless maybe there's a 4, so she's going to be hit. Bastian's going to get a peek at the hand, but there's going to be another drain of 2 coming. Legion General Pride, she's definitely hit. So both players lose a force, right? The Kylo effect isn't on table, or is this is considered the Kylo effect, right? It's the Destiny 7 one, which I haven't seen played in a while. That prevents Darkseid from losing. So what is it? First triggered is Jin gets a peek, but I think both players need to lose a force, right? Maybe I'm crazy. Bastian gets the peek at Charlie's hand. Ray is the agent, Drew. Yeah, here's the Bastian has 1 force, lost, remaining to satisfy. And I'm going to bet that then Charlie needs to lose a force too. Meditation V. Presumably to go on Qui-Gon Serene Jedi. And Charlie loses Doffeld Mataka, aka Lieutenant Tanbris, Destiny 6 guy. Alright, so here comes a drain of 2. So this is going pretty well for Charlie here. Just remember, he doesn't have to win. He just needs to lose by, less than 11 or 10 or whatever it is. And then lost piles, of course, could be the tiebreaker. But we'll see what Bastian has up his sleeve here. Bastian debating what to lose. Loses a Qui-Gon from hand. And Qui-Gon's lightsaber from hand. Those are interesting. Probably makes sense. He definitely was thinking about it for a while. Qui-Gon's the one that does not add to the drain. Obi-Wan's, the Destiny 2 Obi-Wan's, is the one that adds on Naboo. Charlie draws a card with Emperor. And he's going to force push for something he wants to get. Probably a Landing Claw Canceller would be my bet. Not sure if he's running Goddard. I don't know how many times Goddard was in a map deck. He kind of makes sense because Code Cylinder V can pull Phasma, can pull him. Starting to see Goddard in ISB a little bit because Avenger can download him. Avenger V. Yeah, maybe another sense to back up the kick combo. Yeah, when I played Matt Wadden at Coruscant Regionals, I was playing as Yomunning. It's obviously different than Yomunning. Matt was playing Map, and yeah, I was very regretful that I just kind of did something similar to this, where I just set up on my site and didn't attack his 3 locations, and you're just not going to want to race against Map, especially if they can get rid of the Jin and eventually respond to Landing Claw. But of course, I'm sure Bastian's got some plans to change the trajectory here. Very possible a neighboring. But yeah, Charlie's got 9 cards in hand. Here comes Mara. So that just screams like fodder. That's an interesting play. To throw Mara on Steadfast is, yeah, he does not want to get. It doesn't want to allow Bastian to draw enough to get through Hux and get through Steadfast. With 8 cards in hand, I wonder if he doesn't have any other pilots, like good pilots that Maps run. I mean, a Vazin combo adds 3 to power. Cheerney's got to be floating around somewhere. Here comes P59. Yeah, and so Charlie's probably like, the only way I lose this game is if I get knocked off this site. At least that might be a thought that crosses my mind, at least. So it's definitely, I would not consider that an over deploy by any means, to just be like, let me reinforce here. What's an extra card in Life Force and 4 use Force? It's an easy trade-off, that versus making sure you don't get bumped off that site. Yeah, there's lots of ways that Light can add a Destiny. Although he can't deploy Screaming Lando, no maintenance cards. Like Hera. Hera would now be able to add a Destiny versus Mara. Charlie switches the ships. Yeah, he takes off Kylo's shuttle. So now he's got a lot of fodder here. It's going to be really hard for Bastian to clean him off of the system. He's 5. Mara covers 7. General Hux here. Yeah, that's probably a good point, because the Claw is obviously, so it's allowing Bastian to be on 2 battlegrounds for Coward with Rose, but not really be on 2 battlegrounds. It's allowing him to get these drains of 2 through for free. So yeah, in some respects, and that's why, given a lot of times when people run Landing Claw, they run ways to recur it, because there are, handful of cancelers, Get combo being a very, very popular one. So you're almost like, sometimes it's dark side. All right, fine. I'm not going to take myself off my game plan to try to deal with this Landing Claw. I'll just live with allowing my opponent to satisfy battle plan. All right, so Bastian is going to play Jedi Lev. There's no code clearance out. I'm pretty sure none of those shields were via Cold Feet V. So I think Charlie's shield busted. Probably going to get Jin back. Would be, as someone predicted. I think it was Drew. Who said that? Gotta find it here. Yeah, it was Drew. Maybe Jedi Lev for Jin. Yeah, Bastian grabs Jin. Back. Shocked to see Charlie play Map. I guess he thought there was no chance Bastian would play Y40. Has a plan for Y40. And Charlie's just going to draw here, or continue to draw a couple more. And pass the turn to Bastian. Let's see. Bastian's going to activate the maximum? Maybe a little less than the maximum? Did he have any saved? I think he did. Yeah, I don't think he had any saved, it looks like. Alright, Bastian will do the peek. Puts the card bottom force pile, something he liked probably. Ray into it now. Charlie's going to command, which obviously you can't use command on the same turn since it's unique, but not likely there's going to be a battle anywhere where Charlie can use the command. No generals on the ground. PV is an admiral in space, but Huntrey Falcon's at the other system. Here comes a drain at the battle planes. Bastian will get those through. Both players, this is pretty close in terms of life force and hand counts. Are you guys doing like order of operations there? Parentheses and division? What's PEMDAS? Any retrieval he could loop without. Yeah, so no secret plans. Bastian's probably going to get free retrieval now the rest of the game unless Charlie can find a cold feet V. Bastian can get that Jedi Lev back. Wouldn't be surprised if Charlie's like, oh crap, is he going to find that again or recur something again? You imagine Jin's coming out again. Yep, there she is. So Charlie's at 20 down, 11 in hands, that's 31. Bastian's at 19 and 13, 32. So Bastian's actually up a card. He just got through his damage. So Bastian's up a card, but he's going to have to widen that. He can't just... He'll trade 2 damage for 2. But he'll retrieve 1. Again, still a little early for the whole math to be a huge factor. There's still plenty of things that can change the trajectory there. Change the game state. Wow. See, I was close, Drew. PEMDAS versus PEMDAS. And what's PEMDAS? Timer-wise, they're both around 28, 29 minutes, so that's pretty close. I'm sure. Who's doing Timo's doing the Paul Justin game? I always want to be recapping time. The timer in that game with Mr. Myers. Although I've had a couple games with Paul where somehow I was like way behind in time recently. I think Dan called me out on it. I don't know what was happening. Out comes Anakin. All right, interesting. Wonder. I don't know if we'll see like Anakin. Yeah, no Anakin Saber because that wouldn't actually add anything with resistance. Presumably pretty solid here for solidified for Charlie. And Bastian's in his move phase. He's gonna move Huntrey Falcon. Wonder if Charlie has any like gravity shadow or tricks like that. That would be interesting. So yeah, so we have 1 out of the 4 quarterfinals wrapped up with MHT advancing past Drew. This will wrap up a second one. A third one will be wrapped up in a couple hours with Paul and Silverglen, and then I had no clue when Justin and Joker King are going to play their game. Might be a, hey guys, anyone could stream, as they did before. Yeah, I know there's lots of moving parts, and obviously everyone should play when they're able and capable, and we can always get somebody to review a replay after the fact if need be, but everyone's schedules are very different. Charlie plays Accelerate to look for an effect and gets No Escape. Wonder if that wasn't the one he wanted, but at this point, what would really be the one that he'd want? A lot of times map wants to find its first strike, but given the board state here, I don't think first strike would be extremely helpful. Both sides are pretty entrenched on their 2 battleground sites. Charlie's going to activate his maximum, it looks like, all but 3. Wonder if he's got another way to get rid of Jin. Maybe another sniper. Charlie wants to activate a little less. No, Bastian retrieves with Master Yoda. Bastian says okay. Yeah, the activate less is usually a pretty good revert, and I think that's actually something specified in the tournament guide, that's actually something allowed, and especially if there haven't been any other actions. And like Charlie made that request before Bastian technically got the Master Yoda retrieval in. Oh, interesting. So like on the old UI or the current UI, or when there's a revert, it kind of wipes out all the stuff that was reverted, but it looks like that didn't happen here, because I can see the Yoda retrieval even though there's nothing in Bastian's use pile. Interesting. Okay. So Charlie's going to activate 1 less than his plan. And Bastian's going to do the same. Master Yoda once per game retrieval. Going to get that Destiny 5. Bottom of his reserve, which you can of course activate down to if for whatever reason he wants to track it. Drain of 1 at Jakku. That's right, it only adds when it's alone. Yeah. While alone at a battleground. So that's interesting. That's probably not ideal. I wonder if he, in retrospect, would he have wished to just throw the shuttle on the finalizer so that Steadfast got that drain through? That'll be interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily a misplay, but one force that Bastian attaches, of course remembering to. Anytime I play Landing Claw, I usually just say to myself, attach, 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 so I don't forget to. It's very easy to forget. Well, I shouldn't say it's easy. For good players, they don't forget. All right, so Han Falcon's attached. There's a little bit of talk in the Slack discussion about Landing Claw and counters, and is it a competitive balance issue, and should there be some options to, place out a play when it's canceled. Because it can be a really annoying card, but I think the more annoying part of it is like the Baragwen. When the Baragwen can keep getting it back, recurring it. I guess that's not recurring, that's a retrieval. They got to pay for it at least. Although they can do the exchange too, so it's, yeah, stuff's but it's the list of things that are NPE that involve 3-4 card combos is very, very long. If you're a dark side player, you just got to ask yourself, if Landing Claw kind of wrecks my game plan, I probably need a couple counters. And not even the counters specifically for the Landing Claw, but counters for the Baragwen and the like. Charlie's deploy phase. He's down 3 minutes. Still plenty of time though, 24 minutes. He's got 19 down versus Bastian's 18. Bastian's got 1 more card in hand. So yeah, they're dead even on life force then? 31 apiece? Yeah, so about 31. Board state actually now favors Bastian, right? He's got 2 and retrieve 1, whereas Charlie's just doing 1 damage. Really favored 3-1. Swing each cycle. But again, Charlie doesn't need to win, he just needs to lose by less than 11. Or maybe 10. He's got a little less cards in his lost pile right now. First game, I don't know what the lost piles were, but Charlie was Yoda Communing versus Bastian Shadow Collective. So trying to. It was a differential of 10. So out comes Min, who will play the shield. Okay, so definitely more so to get the shield than to just be more of a warm body there. I don't think he needs to reinforce it much more. And he's also like a grabber too, because once per game he can use 1 force to place a opponent's just by interrupt out of play. So yeah, grabber and a shield. He's a good card. Destiny 4. Really good stats. 3-5, 4-3. Leader. Works with Grandmoff Tarkin V. He was a good card. And again, the Slack channel was talking the other day about set 8. It was a really, really good virtual set. It included Min and Kier as well. Kanos V. Really good cards. Really strong cards. Alright. Charlie's going to play Accelerate just to cycle it for the interrupt. He's going to get the interrupt. Here comes No Escape to get a command back into the hand. See, Charlie's got the barrier canceller there. They're still coming through. All right, so probably Cheernew, I'm guessing here. Is Pride. All right. Maybe there is no Cheernew. Maybe the new allies teammates can let me know. I would think that. Doesn't every map have a Cheernew in it? Cheernew or Cheernew? I think set 8 was when map came out, which was the very end of 2017. And I think Chris Kelly started in the middle of 2018 when Matt stepped down. So I think this was a set that came out when Matt Carulli was design advocate. Probably Jared Konsker's favorite set, since he loves map and he loves episode 7 so much. All right, so Charlie's going to put Pride at the battle planes. And he's going to play Lana Dobreed combo to move dudes 4. And dudettes with Phasma. First strike. There's the first strike. Interesting. All right, so now Charlie's going to cover up Bastian's only damage. He's going to send Kylo, FN, Phasma at 9s. So he's going to leave Min and P-59. Presumably has some neighbor protection so that Bastian doesn't just neighbor over there. But of course, yeah, I'm sure both players have the Gik or Hujix in their hand. Well, I take that back. Bastian might not be playing a Hujix since he's playing We're Leaving. Which sometimes you play this or it's equivalent, like Mind Tricks, and you also play the Gik, which I remember Drew would be a strong proponent of. You play Gik and it. I thought one of the benefits of playing the Gik effect is then you don't actually have to play 1 or 2 cards for Gik. But of course, Masterful Move and Masterful Move combo are such good cards that you probably want them anyway. All right. Garrett says video crashed and sound gone again. Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still see the stream? Or maybe he's talking about his own stream? I hope it's not mine. All right, so finally battle. There's too much going on. I need to catch up. Jerome. All right. Couple moves here. Audio and video. Okay. Thank you, Kyle. All right, Bastian's going to play Wisa. You're scaring me there, Garrett. All right. So Charlie verifies Bastian's reserve deck with the Wisa. And yeah, looks like we're going to get a battle here. Let's see here. So chill Charlie's draw phase. See what Bastian has up his sleeve here. Maybe he's got like a mess combo to get rid of somebody here. You got Darkseid's getting 1, 2, 3 Battle Destiny. They got plenty of weapons protection. Power's dead even. Bastian's got Bionic Hand to fish something out. He's got Rey and Anakin adding to Battle Destiny. This will be interesting. Maybe Bastian's line is maybe he breaks Jin's cover. Drops like maybe Mace or something. attacks the village and then just tries to stall at the battle planes. Still Charlie's draw phase. Bastian's going to draw a card with Ray. Presumably knows what it is. Definitely at this point of the game with communing, and this is where, you know, you'll hear a lot of people talk about the high skill cap of communing, that when you can kind of get these peaks and move cards around and draw them with Ray, there's a lot of value that you can untap there in finding the cards you need and setting up destinies and filtering the cards you don't really need. Alright, so Bastian now detaches during Charlie's draw phase. He detach at any time. Okay, interesting. Yeah, who called the alter collateral damage? Berm. So Bastian's now going to pay one to retrieve Luke, who's a Destiny 4. He could track that around, initiate battle here, draw less than 4, and get rid of one of these 5 guys, who all kind of have a purpose here. 9s is probably the worst, but as Phasma adds a Destiny, FN could take away game text and a shot. But again, if that's not the first action of the battle, you know, canceling your game text. Canceling any of these one character's game text isn't tremendous. You know, Luke would lose his immunity, but there's enough other immunity there. So yeah, if that's the play, and it looks like he doesn't activate down to that. So maybe Bastian just used Walkling because he figured do it now while he can. Sometimes when you get really late in the game, you don't want to. Every force matters, and then you don't want to be like, crap, I don't really have a good opportune time to use my Walkling to get a card back, so I might as well do it now. Luke has the Bionic Hand V and his lightsaber. Luke's lightsaber. If any of you guys, well, for a good opportunity to plug the gift exchange that Ming is running again. He ran it last year, maybe even 2 years ago. But Ming's avatar is the crazy Luke GIF, or GIF, where the Vince McMahon expressions interwoven with Jedi Luke and Luke's bionic hand and lightsaber proficiency, and I think even Obi-Wan's journals in there. It might be the best avatar on the forums. Bastian retrieves Qui-Gon with Rose. Yeah, I think the top card is the card he used for Secret Plans, I think, and then the second to bottom is Wisa. And the bottom card is... not sure. Here comes General Leia. Probably her gun as well. Yeah, I think that might have been the turn before, but maybe I'm misremembering. When he retrieved Qui-Gon's lightsaber, he did that at the very beginning of Charlie's one turn. I can unlock it and see. That was a long turn from Charlie, I guess. Yeah, so it is. So Qui-Gon's on the bottom. Then I think it's Wisa. Then it's the card he paid to retrieve. I think. I might be wrong. All right, so Jar Jar's coming down. Jar Jar gets barriered. The most powerful. Darth Jar Jar. Who's trying to get that going? I don't think I understand all the inside jokes about Jar Jar and Senator Jar Jar that Robbie's always talking about from Legacy, but he's apparently a fan of Darth Jar Jar. Maybe other people know more about that situation than I do, but I know there was some post in the Facebook group too about Darth Jar Jar, and that was piggybacking on top of the Persona rules. If you're Dark Side Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, Jerome, I still have a t-shirt for you that I need to mail. I got it just after I sent the big shipment over to Martin. So next EU shipment that I have, I'll include your R2-D2 t-shirt that you got for your really good performance in the Java Brawl last summer. Ray draws the bottom card of Force Pile. Let's see what Bastian's plan is here. He's still got 8 Force to work with. You would think, because he probably breaks Jin's cover. Maybe he's got a leadership. Charlie probably has a sense in his hand by this point. see here. Bastian's up about 4 minutes in time now. Yeah, at this point, you probably think Charlie's probably going to shuttle Mara down at some point because it doesn't seem like Bastian has enough space to threaten, the second system. Threaten attacking the second system, that is. All right, so Jar Jar is barriered. That went through. And then Bastian shuffled the reserve. So we're all pretty sure that there's a Qui-Gon Saber in there. Pretty sure there's a Wisa in there. I'm not sure what the third card is. Bastian probably knows what it is, though. Still Bastian's deploy phase. Still 8 force to work with. Oh yeah, so what I was saying with Ming, yeah, the gift exchange. So check out the forums for that. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend signing up for it. I have some of my things from last year, but not in arm's reach. So that's a really cool program. Move off with no escape there. Let's see, Bastian's debating what to do here. Yeah, so if Jar Jar is barriered, maybe one line as he breaks Jin's cover, battles, plays leadership, definitely clears both people, but then Jin's probably going to get hit by P-59 for 2 force loss. And that might be it. And then Leia and Jar Jar are there. Or he just puts maybe one character down and just anticipates battling into him. But Bastian's probably also, he's looking at this board state and he doesn't have any damage that he's threatening right now. And this whole situation here at the battle planes, he's got 3 force saved. That's enough for a swing and a destiny, but very possible that Charlie has like a close call in hand for the redraw, which would take away the battle destiny effectively. So I doubt Bastian's going to battle at the battle planes here. But maybe he's got like a clash or something, but with 5 guys, yeah, clash and a mess. But again, at this point in the game, both players still have decent hands. They filtered a lot of their deck. They probably have a lot of, battle interrupts ready to counter one another. Bastian's still debating what to do here, as now that it's like a 4-minute advantage he had is about equal now. Goes to his battle phase. So no Leia's gun. The other thing is, it's very possible Charlie has like a disarmed in here. Although, yeah, very possible he's got that. But Luke, he can be disarmed, right? Bionic hand doesn't stop it. Yeah, it's lost. The non-V Bionic hand. Oh, okay. All right, Bastian's going to play Oda Nessor. And presumably it's these people going here. You can go to a battleground or an exterior site. It's got to be going here, and it's everybody. Also makes sense. All right, but now Bastian's going to have a drain of 3 here, right? 3 at the battle planes. 2 at the system. That's not good. Oh boy, interesting. Okay, all right. So Min places Odin Nestler out of play for one, and Charlie's gonna sense the Nestler successfully, and he's gonna have to lose sense in two more. But Nestler's not going to the use pile because Min pooped it. P-O-O-P, placed out of play. And Charlie's just going to throw away the hallway from hand and another pride. So that's pretty big that he kept all these characters here. Clearly, Bastian didn't want to keep these characters here. Again, just thinking of what Matt usually runs, Charlie probably has a You Are Beaten in hand, might have a second sniper, might have a disarmed. I think we know he has another. Oh no, he played that Imperial Command, but Map can run 3 or 4 commands to work with Pride. So it could be a lot of Battle Destiny here. Still Bastian's move phase. Charlie still has his grabber open. Yeah, that's true, Joker. Yeah, there's the interrupt. Yeah, it's going to be hard for Bastian to hit anybody because 9s can cancel a lightsaber draw. The effect can cancel it. And he's got 1 destiny, albeit it'll be +1 from Anakin, and then the total will be +1. I've seen map decks with the sand effect too to limit, but I don't think that's what Charlie wants in this situation. So Bastian's draw phase. Bastian's at 19 down. Versus Charlie's 17, so he's up 2 there. He's up 3 in hand. So he's now up a handful. But I think Charlie has a better board state. Oh, here comes You Are Beaten at the very end of Bastian's turn, which means that it'll wear off at the end of this upcoming turn from Charlie. Okay. That goes through. Yeah, so that's I'm sure, probably a couple of reasons that's a good play that'll probably show themselves here, but one of which is he now doesn't need to use that 2 force on his turn. Instead, he could use that to deploy people or save it for destinies or save it to move people around at some point or whatever it might be. So Charlie might blow the game open here. Again, Bastian doesn't have to worry about any overflow because he's got the Hujix effect, we'll call it. But this could be a pretty significant board state shift. He'll get 2 more damage through. That barrier on Jar Jar was kind of big. Bastian did not break Jin's cover. So yeah, like Dr. E down, and Map has pretty good destinies, especially towards the end of the game. It doesn't have like a lot of 6s or anything, although it does have a couple Doffelds. It just doesn't have many like 1s. You'll see like a Thrawn, a Mara, maybe a second Kylo, Snoke, but it's 5 or 6 1s perhaps. There's just a lot of like 3s, 4s, and with Hux adding to the Destiny, that's pretty big too. Yeah. So Luke will go away. He's power 7? So yeah, it's very likely that the Kylo 2 force ping for winning a battle is going to get through here. Possible P-59 gets a ping through. So again, just kind of board state and chipping away, and it's not like Charlie's at any risk of getting kicked out of space. He definitely seems to have a pretty consistent avenue for at least 2 damage every single turn with Force Drains. Whereas Bastian does not have that. I wonder, this is probably all the locations that Bastian's playing. I think one of the benefits I've seen with like Yoda, well not benefits, but one of the avenues, like I know Worf's has a pretty cool Yoda community deck where it's got a really strong space package. I've seen a lot of them that are playing Camino. But you can also play like Shaw was playing with the generator, that 2/2. It can really just be on 2 locations and really have a lot of damage output. One of the, obviously you always want to play Wisa for it needs the activation, but this could be kind of good with the battle planes in the off chance someone plays like Expand the Empire. If you have the generator core or generator core, whatever it is, you're protected. All right, Sebastian loses Hear Me Baby, V off the top, and a mess from hand. Presumably figures that's not going to be very helpful. Yeah, with this weapon's protection here, very possible Charlie has the imbalance combo to cancel it anyway. Falcon attaches. Here comes Snoke. That's going to be a use pile pull. Charlie will find another helpful card here. This might be rough. Yeah, wow. 6 first order characters there. So he initiates battle. Probably that first strike, would that be one of those 5? Let's think that was like the Lana Dobreed Destiny, right? So it was probably, yeah, it might be in the middle of that force pile. We'll see. There's been a lot of shuffling going on too. Emperor draws a card. All right. No first strike. As we go to Charlie's battle phase, Snoke ping. Weezy goes off the top. Luke gets frozen out of the battle with the "You Are Beaten." And Kylo's going to fire at Rey. Limited resources. Very good card in map. Very good card in match play, I think, in general, personally. It's hanging there. Maybe there's another Wisa. Wouldn't make sense to play it there. There's another 4. There's a 4. Rey's going to be hit. There's going to be the double ping now, so that's another ping that Bastian's going to have to deal with. Rey is sliced. This 9s can probably hit Rey without too much difficulty, but that won't do much. It doesn't reduce her forfeit. So again, so your beaten will wear off at the end of this turn for Charlie. I almost wonder, like, depending how this goes, if he just like does the FN like before the battle, just to make sure Luke doesn't even get a swing through. Although, again, it's gonna be really tough for him to hit anybody with these weapon protections. Bastian's debating what card to throw away here. And the Baragwin. There he is. Good old Baragwin. Jabba's Palace, 1998. Hunchback Scavengers. Scavenger, just like Rey. So yeah, that was his landing claw recursion. It seems. Excuse me. Kids and the puppy are not used to daylight savings. It's 5 a.m. I feel like I was up at CRG time. Alright, so Charlie tosses Accelerate for his 1 ping from Kylo's lightsaber. 5 Battle Destiny, he's got 2 more coming. Another 4. So lots of commands and accelerates. Those are usually 4 of each in a lot of map decks. And a 4 barrier. So that's gonna clear everyone for Bastian, except for Luke, of course, who's just hanging out there. Bastian draws a 5, which will be a 7 in total because of Rey and Anakin. Here comes the Kylo ping for 2. And Charlie's going to have to lose either Snoke or Kylo, which I really doubt he would do that. Snoke or like 2 people. And he's going to flip back to a 7 side here too with Rey going to Lost Pile. which means shut off any retrieval from Bastian, including like General Leia if she were to battle here. Require him to pay 1 or lose 1 to draw Battle Destiny here, should he want to do that. Unless, of course, he gets Ray back out in this 9-card hand. This doesn't look good for Bastian, because again, at this stage of the game, it's very likely Charlie has a Gick in case, worst case scenario, in some battle. He also has got, damage potential with the very least 1 system worth of drains. It looks like he's going to win this Battle Plains location pretty quickly. As Charlie retrieves a trooper. Nope. Tries to retrieve a trooper. Did not successfully do that. Yeah, I think that's his only way to win, but I'd be shocked if Charlie doesn't have like another barrier or a Gick or something to help out at the village there. 10. It was 10 MHT. Top of the screen. Well, maybe I need to make the font a little bit better. And now Charlie stacks Sniper Dark Strike on his effect. Not his effect, on his objective, excuse me. And yes, so much for that. Mara getting shuttled down, that will make it even harder for Bastian to get some type of overflow at the village. And Bastian's at 14 minutes left. Charlie's got 13. Again, reminder, in about 45 minutes, Timo, aka Dylan, is going to be streaming Game 2 of Paul Myers versus Justin Branch, aka P. Myers and Silverglen. Silverglen won Game 1 by 10, I believe, as Y4O. No, he was Hunt Down D versus Paul's Y4O. That will determine who goes on to the Final Four. Paul was the runner-up last year, and Justin was drafted in the first round last year against Bastian and was the runner-up in... Oh, so I guess it's a matchup of the last 2 runner-ups. He was the runner-up in 2019. A Silvergun won by 13? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm conflating these matchups. Desai was 8. And, Drew won Game 1 by 10. It must have been when I was getting mixed up. Drew won by 10. And Charlie won this by 10. Okay, so Bastian's activate phase here. Got 1 less card in hand, 3 more cards face down. Bastian's going to use Communing. Bastian deploys Qui-Gon, Jinn, Serene Jedi. He's going to drop Meditation here. Alright, so that's going to make Mara power -1. And forfeit -2. Forfeit 5. Comes Qui-Gon's lightsaber. He's got 4/4 saved, so he can potentially Jar Jar somebody here. Probably P59, right? It's ability. Opponent's Destiny plus target's ability. So it's going to be really hard for Charlie to not have P59 go lost here. And then Qui-Gon will probably hit like Min. Oh, no battle. Huh. Huh. And Bastian's just going to draw. Very interesting. Yeah, so presumably on this turn, Charlie's just going to battle Luke at the battle planes, clear him, hit another ping of 2. I mean, what could Bastian have there? Maybe like a dodge, but then what's that going to do? To run away to the Nash chamber, that doesn't do much. And he gets UR beaten on there, so, and that'll work at either site. Since Mara's here with the lightsaber. Serene Jedi is not immune to UR beaten the way that Master Qui-Gon V is. No, Luke is live. He was live during Bastian's turn too. Because Charlie played it in the draw phase of Bastian's turn 6, I guess. So through Charlie's turn 7, Luke was affected. But on Bastian's turn 7, he was fine again. So yeah, so Charlie got 2 drain at Jakku through. Wonder if Charlie will play Sniper Dark Strike or UR beaten. Or Sniper Dark Strike during his control phase. Ow. I apologize, I kind of missed that. The word leaving was placed out of play. So yeah, so Bastian's probably going to need a Hujix here. Unless he's got a lot of tricks. Yeah. Bastian loses Corn Horn. And an Old Man Luke. Here comes Grievous. I don't know. Is there any lightsabers in there? Is there an Anakin's in Bastian's Lost Pile? Probably not, because I would think that Troy would have tried to steal it if so. Whew, 28-2 versus 7-1. Yeah, that's what I speculated, but even if he has dodge, that stops a game-ending battle or forcing out the Hujix, but that's all it does, really. I mean, he can drain for 1. I know he can't even drain here because of the text. Alright, so FN 2003 makes Luke not able to fire and loses game text, so he has no immunity. Although that's probably not going to matter, but he can't cause a redraw. It seems very likely Charlie's going to hit here, which is going to cause a force loss of 1 for both players. And he's going to play Sniper Dark Strike just to make sure he hits here. Because why not? If you're Charlie, might as well. Yeah, there's a 4, so he's already at 7. And another 4. So Luke is going to be hit, forfeit 0. Here comes the ping ping for each player. And Bastian concedes. Okay, yeah. So that's it. Congratulations to Charlie for advancing. It was a good game, good match. Charlie will move on to play MHD. So, wow, good matchup. 2 really good players. These OCS games are really, really neat. All right, so Charlie advances playing map. I guess not too much else to say. Everyone refill your beverages, 35 minutes. Tune in to twitch.tv/SWCCGPC. for the game 2 of Silver Glen and P. Myers. If for some reason it's not appearing on there, go to twitch.tv/Dylan85 because Timo will be streaming it, but the PC should be auto-hosting it as well. All right, so thanks to everyone. Bastian says, total brain fart, thought he was still beaten. Yeah, I think it was trending that way for a while, but yeah, thanks for everyone for interacting. And yeah, keep watching these. They're really entertaining, and we'll get some more giveaways out as well for the other streams. I didn't do any today, sorry everyone, but I think for these other ones we can come up with some interesting things to thank you all for tuning in. All right, so that's all I have. I'm going to end the stream here. Again, this is Jared. This is Game 2, and Charlie advances. Charlie GoldenGod advances past Bastian zlorfik. All right, everyone take care.